Natasha McLaughlin-Chaisson here, registered dietitian specialized in sports and performance and founder of NMC Nutrition. I've been getting great questions from you all about plant-based nutrition, and I thought what better way to answer them than to enlist the help of a colleague who is specialized in that domain. So here with me today is Shena Jaramillo. She is a registered dietitian based out of Ellensburg, Washington. And on top of being a registered dietitian with a bachelor's degree in nutrition, she also has a bachelor's degree in psychology and anthropology, as well as a master's in nutrition and human performance. And so her specializations are in sports and fitness nutrition, as well as plant-based nutrition. And Shena has actually been a vegetarian for over 20 years. So welcome, Shena. Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
So Shena, what brought you to wanting to specialize in sports and performance and obviously in plant-based nutrition as well?
Yeah, so, well, one being, I'm vegan, so it's what I know. And I love to engage in sports. I love hiking. I love running, and having optimal nutrition while you're engaging in your favorite activities is definitely one of the most important things that you can do for both your performance and just to say, stay safe.
Yes, awesome. Love it. So you probably see vegans, clients who are on a plant-based diet as much as I do, who maybe have gone about it the wrong way and who've developed deficiencies. So which deficiencies do you see most commonly, and how can athletes reduce the risk of developing these deficiencies?
Yeah. So definitely one of the most common ones that I see is going to be iron deficiency. And that's not necessarily specific, to vegetarians and vegans. This is a very common deficiency for everyone. But when we get to the vegetarian and vegan, lifestyle, we need even more iron. So getting that in and having the time to prep all of those foods that are going to be iron rich is sometimes quite challenging, and it does require a little bit of attention.
Okay.
So making sure that you are aware of, those plant-based iron sources, you are getting those on a regular basis, especially, for the vegans, is going to be really important. So things like the tofu and the potatoes and the spinach and those dark leafy greens is going to be incredibly important. And if you are uncertain, or you do just feel like, things have gotten really hectic, it's okay to think about an iron supplement as well.
Okay, good. Now, you've mentioned tofu in there, which I absolutely love. And one of the questions I get most often, and I get this question, I'd say even weekly from my clients, is around soy. So a lot of them will avoid it, and this plays a role in them developing deficiencies and so on, because they have this fear of soy. And you know that all the information they hear out there and in the media is very contradicting. So can you clarify, please, for everyone, where the safety in soy lies?
Yeah. So the controversy with soy often comes with, it contains a component called isoflavones, which is similar to estrogen in our bodies. And so the argument is that it's going to produce too much estrogen in our bodies, which is supposedly linked to things like cancers, and specifically breast cancers. So what I always like to say is, I feel like there's no perfect food. I feel like nutrition is kind of one of those things where enough is as good of a feast, and we could probably take any food on the planet, and if we're eating that in complete excess, and just every single day, every meal that we have, we're just consuming that food, the really good components in it can become damaging quickly, if that makes sense. So, yeah. so with soy, it's the same thing. We want to have the balanced diet still. We want to make sure that we're getting those from whole foods. And with that, I think the benefits really outweigh any of the potential risks. Also, another really important thing to note about that is a lot of these studies that have been done have been really poorly controlled studies.
Okay.
They haven't been, there are a lot of correlational studies, so it's just one of those things where it hasn't been heavily researched, and a lot of the things that they're testing are those really highly processed soy products, where it's not something that you would find naturally, that really condensed form of soy. So it's not something where you might find the same results if you were having like just basically tofu or soybeans.
Okay, wonderful. So you feel comfortable consuming soy yourself based on all the research and literature you've read?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And again, just making sure it's part of a balanced diet. So, having soy throughout the day, but it doesn't need to be every single meal, every single supplement that you're having soy.
Wonderful. I like that. Now, one of the aspects that you know very well about athletes is that athletes are limited on time. And I often hear that some will limit their plant-based eating because they feel that they don't have time to soak beans and chickpeas and lentils overnight. And so, what are some of the tricks that they can use to make this more efficient time-wise?
That's funny because one of the main things that prevented me from going vegan for so long is because I just felt like I didn't have the time to nurture all of these plants all day long. But one thing is once you get into the routine of batch cooking, a little bit of pre-prep, it's actually a lot easier and more time efficient than not being plant-based, if
Oh,
that makes
wow.
sense.
Okay.
So if we're batch cooking, beans and quinoa and rice, and we've got some good greens in the fridge, it's really easy to throw things together, and these products actually keep really well. So especially things like quinoa, you can keep that several days in large batches in the fridge and just throw together a meal.
100%.
Yeah. So
I
then
like
your
that.
meals are much easier to prepare. And basically you're just working with plants, so they keep very well. There's also no shame in using like a canned bean or a frozen veggies, or any of those types of products. We can wash off quite a bit of the sodium if we are using canned products. So just a good rinse, and those are already ready to go. If you've got
Beautiful.
your quinoa in the fridge and you've got your, your black beans, we throw it together, maybe throw some greens on there, and we've got a meal.
Beautiful. I love that. Now, for athletes who want to continue benefiting from your vast knowledge, how can they get in touch with you? How can they continue following you? Do you have a blog? How can they go about that?
I do. Yeah, yeah. So you can visit my website at peaceandnutrition.com. You can subscribe to the blog. I do post a lot of plant-based recipes and just a lot of good general information about some of the things we've discussed today, vitamin and mineral deficiencies, and how to shop while you're vegan, and how to save time, and all of those good topics. So you're more than welcome to follow that blog. And then I also do one-on-one consultations.
Wonderful. And so I will put the link to peaceandnutrition.com in the description of this video. And I will also put the links to your social media pages, which I think are fantastic. And I'm very much impressed at all the wonderful looks of those meals that you make. It's appetizing. So thank you again for taking the time, Shena. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Et merci à tout le monde aussi d'avoir participé. Je vous encourage de visiter Natasha McLaughlin-Chaisson sur YouTube. So if you want to see more of these types of videos, visit my YouTube page, Natasha McLaughlin-Chaisson. And remember, everyone, nutrition is a science, not an opinion.